You say modern dating is a scam, men are demons, feminine energy runs the world. You've transcended dating and you're in a cult focused on world liberation, domination. Feminine energy runs the world. Why don't you tell us about the demon thing?
Man, let me just think about the things I've seen. I've just seen so much grimy behavior, complete slime balls where
There's a lot of slime balls out there.
Yeah, exactly. Like the whole ghosting thing is I don't know. I don't understand how they don't have that drive to want to socially connect. They literally are just okay with the physical aspect.
Wait, are you saying after you have sex with a guy, he just
they just dip out every time?
Hits the hit and quit.
Why do you keep allowing them to do that?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to even say because I've been on this grind for so long. It's I'm trying to uproot old memories and stuff. You know.
But do you think the way that you open yourself up to men generally is if a hookup, do you think that that's gonna attract men to have something stable with you?
No, I don't.
Brian is arguing with pigeons there. No matter what he says, they will just crap on the table and strut around like they won something.
So you don't agree that women should be successful on their own? You just think that they need to depend on a man and get married young?
That's a false choice that you're creating. You're saying either I have to be completely dependent on my man and never do anything with my life, or I have to be successful on my own first and then find somebody. It's biological reality that you have a limited fertility window in your life where it's best for you to have children between the ages of about 20 to 35. So if you spend all of your 20s going to college and building a career and you don't even think about settling down until you're 30, which I think you had said that. You said, I'm going to wait until all my eggs are pretty much gone and then I'll think about getting a husband at the end of my fertile years. It's not that you can't get pregnant in your later 30s or even your early 40s, but it gets harder and harder. You have higher risk of complications. And if you have your first one when you're 35, you might have one more. And that's the main reason that we only have 1.6 births per woman in this country and in most developed countries around the whole world now, because women are waiting. So
cooking, man.
She's shaking her head like it isn't biologically true. It's best to have kids in your early 20s/30s. These internet girls have lost their minds. She is disagreeing because she doesn't want truth to be reality. Let her find out.
Do you think you'll be better looking in 10 years' time?
No.
Yes.
Okay, what about you? You're
Based off my mom. And
33, better 10 years.
Fine wine.
Okay, 20 years?
You
53?
are a 10, girl. 53. I'm going to consistently stay just super 10 all the way through.
Still 10. And then better looking now or better looking 10 years ago at 23?
At 23.
Yeah.
Whew, no.
Wait, so better looking now, 33.
Yeah.
Will you be better looking at 43 than you were at 23?
I feel so. Listen, I'm going to explain that the 10 is going to be a 10 from when I was born to when I go into heaven, all right?
Okay,
because
I see you.
Boy.
yes,
Okay.
I'm going into it. You're going to ask anyway, so I'm just going to explain.
All
I'm
right.
created in the perfect image of God.
So you don't care, when it comes to who you would date though, do you not care about looks?
He's going to be a perfect image of God too, and he's going to be the one that God chooses to send to me.
So are you going to date an obese 4'11"?
Listen, you
Bald guy?
my track record, I've never had.
That's who she dates.
I've never had a type. I mean, I've had some questionable ones, so we'll see.
Okay.
You know what's incredibly attractive at any age? Humility.
everybody except Anza said women shouldn't be drafted, but y'all want to be equal? So wait a sec. How are you equal if the men are the ones that have to fight and die to defend the country? The men are the ones that build and maintain all the infrastructure. Like, none of this stuff in the studio is built or maintained by women. Do you know that like 90% of infrastructure jobs are still held by men? Mm-hmm. And that if you look at the top 20 jobs held by women now in 2024 versus 1924 are almost the exact same. So women have had 100 years to do whatever they want, and they still do the same 20 jobs they did 100 years ago. If the men are the ones tasked with every time there's a natural disaster, they have to go out and rescue people from the fires and the floodwaters. And every time there's a war, the men have to go and fight it and defend the country. And anytime there's criminal who needs to be violently arrested, it's going to be a man who goes and does that, not a woman. Where does the equality come in?
They want the benefit of equality, but not the responsibilities of equality. I bet you if it was the guy trying to say this, the women at that table would have tried to interrupt him 50 times.
Do you hate men?
Sometimes. Genuinely, yeah.
What if a white person says they sometimes hate black people?
It's not the same thing.
It's
Literally
bigotry.
is.
Okay, how about if a man said he sometimes hates women?
What's your reasoning? Like, why do you hate women?
Does he need a reason? You don't have a reason.
I do have a reason.
Do you?
Yeah.
What's your reason?
I can't literally go a single day without opening my phone and seeing like a woman getting like 71 times and like.
Why would that give you justification to hate like 4 to 5 billion people?
I don't know. That's just how I feel.
So then a white person who sees all these videos of black people committing crimes against white people, fine for them to sometimes hate black people?
No, that's racist.
Then your position's sexist, lady.
No, it's not.
It is sexist. Yes, it is.
You're a
I
hypocrite.
don't agree.
What if I saw every single day, I saw videos of women acting fucking stupid? Would that give me justification to sometimes hate women?
Okay, what case? Like, give me an example.
Oh, sure. Like this woman in Australia lit some guy on fire pretty recently. That's interesting that you laugh.
No,
I'm not
it's
sure.
not funny. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
It's just the scenario.
Your true colors are really coming through
No,
here, by the way.
it's
Like you're kind of a
not.
terrible person, but
This is psychopath's behavior. Beware, guy. They will hurt you and play the victim card.
average women don't want average men. What I see is a major issue going on in the dating marketplace. Average women think they're above average or a 10. Thus, you have average women that are going to be chasing after exceptional or above average men. You have average women who are going to reject men who are commensurate to them in terms of their appearance or their social standing or social status. If you happen to find yourself down the road in a relationship with this sort of man, after you've perhaps attempted to chase after men who are outside of your league, you're going to ultimately end up having contempt for the men that you end up settling with. You're probably not going to be satisfied in the relationship because you're going to be pining for this exceptionally attractive guy who perhaps you got his divided attention. A lot of women get caught up in these situationships, friends with benefits, buddies, one-night stand situations, boys, whatever it may be, but you'd almost prefer having the divided attention of a hyper-attractive man because you can get his attention. You're not going to get his romantic attention. You're not going to get his marriage attention. You're not going to get his relationship and commitment attention.
You can see the few brain cells in their head looking for an answer, but no one is home to reply. They're all sitting there wondering where they're going to go eat after the podcast. That awkward silence where you can actually hear the crickets in their heads.
The point I'm trying to make is this. I'm just giving you your standards, right? You want a guy, pretty much the man you described as a 1% man. Now, the caliber of man that you're chasing is a type A, assertive, dominant male that doesn't need you, period. Are you aware that men don't care about a woman's financials? What actually makes a woman 1% woman are things that women typically don't tend to highlight. Compliant, feminine, attractive, fit, following his lead. These are things that make a woman 1%. Attraction, ladies, is not symmetrical. You might say to yourself, I'm a 1% woman, but that's false. The market dictates your value, not you. The problem is this. We live in a world where we tell women that they can do no wrong, they're perfect however they come, and they don't have to self-improve. And I'm here to tell you, that's a fucking lie. You got to self-improve just like us, and you got to bring value.
Women saying they're a 10 or a 1% woman is like a comedian having to laugh at his own joke. If it were true, it wouldn't need to be pointed out.
I actually feel like it's a lot easier to feel fulfilled and satisfied in non-monogamous relationships because you can go to multiple people for different needs. I mean, it's really hard when you expect like just one person to be your basically a whole entire support system.
I mean, this is what I'll tell you. Like, this is what every single stat shows, is that monogamous relationships own. Like, kids do better in monogamous relationships. Spousal abuse is lower in monogamous relationships versus non-monogamous relationships. There's less spousal jealousy. Divorce rates are lower. You can say divorce rates are crazy high. Divorce rates are lower in monogamous man-woman relationships than non-monogamous relationships. They just seem to work better. Also, I can look just a basic equation. Okay, 50% of my country's population is men. 50% of my country's population is women. If I'm looking for a foundation to build my society, I'm looking at one man, one woman, because otherwise you have an unequal balance, and maybe you've got one woman that has 10 men or one man that has 10 women, and that leads to some very curious, problematic sort of socio problems. So
somebody needed to school this girl real good. Clearly she didn't go to one. If you were satisfied in the relationship, you wouldn't have to go to someone else for support.
I don't want to sound harsh by saying this, but men don't want extra drama that they don't need in their life. Men would rather be alone than with a woman who brings nothing more than drama into his life. And no, this doesn't mean that you can't come to him with your problems. This doesn't mean that you can't go to him when you're feeling bad or when you're feeling upset. This just means if that is all you're bringing to the relationship, it is simply not enough, especially for a good man who's going places in his life. If you want to lock down an amazing guy who has all the qualities you're looking for, who is driven, who is ambitious, who's going places in life, you need to be the kind of woman that he would want to be with. And the kind of woman he would want to be with is a woman who is self-controlled, who is emotionally stable, and who's able to support him and put him first in difficult times and not only come to him with all of your drama. You need to learn to be careful with what you say, when you say it, and how you say it. And remember that you need to bring assets into his life that are more than just your looks if you want to be with a man that is going places in life.
Don't even need to be emotionally stable at all. Just show us we matter. Show us love. Make us feel special.
So I had a post or 2 or 3 go viral because on Tinder I was trying to meet women and I realized in real time why men may have a harder time dating. Caveat, we'll asterisk that for a second, but essentially something that I hate is when I see a girl's profile that says, make me laugh, impress me, take me somewhere like great, you know, like something where it really strongly suggests she does not plan on really meeting me in the middle. And then I realized that it's likely more common, at least in, you know, American culture, that women do that more than men. I don't see a lot of guys' profiles that say, make me laugh, take me, like show me a good time, like mostly not. And it could be primarily because women have a lot more choices, but it's sort of a dynamic thing and it sucks and I hate it. I get to skip all of those people very easily without a second thought because I have tons of choices. I just go to the next one. And I do realize a lot of the guys in the comments think that I don't realize this. I'm not stupid, I do. That you guys have fewer choices. I keep saying less choices, it's fewer choices. But you can still have standards, and something I would recommend, what a lot of women are doing is choosing to be happy alone. Like genuinely, not like in a bitter, jaded, I hate men and I'm just gonna go cry into my pillow with my cats. Like, yeah, we're gonna have cats and nice pillows, but happily, you know? Like it's a good choice. It's not like a last resort. It can be a first resort. And a lot of you guys are pretty, you know, unhappy with the dating choices, and if you feel like you have to choose women like that are telling you have to come on the first date like it's a job interview and you hate it and you just hate dating and you're so frustrated, you can do exactly what women that are sick of the dating scene are doing and just like fulfill yourself, you know? And I don't just mean like onanism. You can fully be like a fully actualized human that's really, really happy, and you can have fulfilling friendships, even with other men. You might have to put in a little more work because, granted, it is not pretty out there for guys as far as how encouraged men still are to express their emotions, and that's rough, and it's something we all can work on together. But if you don't just look at women as someone to potentially date or hook up with, you can make some really great friends. They don't need to be your type. They're people. And men or women, you can have friends that fulfill everything that you would need out of a relationship, you know, depending on how you do friendship, probably not your, you know, sexual needs, but you can be perfectly happy. You can step out, you can opt out happily and not bitterly, just as easily as women can. You are in the driver's seat of your own life. You're not being held hostage here. You don't have to be in a situation with which you are not happy. You're in charge. You can choose to own your own self-worth and know that you're better than this. I can tell from a lot of the anger that you know you're better than this, or can be. Just make yourself happy. You can do it. Like, you're fully allowed to do it. You don't need permission from anyone. You don't need it to be a big cultural movement, although that would be great. Just do it. It's up to you. Yeah, not a last resort. You can do it.
Most men want a partner, someone to provide for and make happy. Also, the support system for women is much grander than men. Making yourself happy is extremely difficult as a person that is happy and alone. There are massive times where it sucks, and being alone or even out and by yourself just sucks. Because life is made to be experienced with others.
This idea of the male loneliness epidemic, I think needs to be looked at. Some of these guys are lonely, that's true, but part of the reason is that they're looking at their options and they're like, I can't do it. Like, this is not appealing to me anymore. So they're feeling lonely. There is a segment of guys that are feeling lonely because they don't want you anymore. Like, they're not drawn to you anymore. So they would love to be with a woman who acts like a woman, who's feminine, who's respectful, who's loyal, who's, not going to cheat, who's not going to, their phone's not going to be, shady as what, who's not going to be posting like all naked pictures online all the time looking for male attention while you got a boyfriend here that you got one foot out the door, who's not going to feel like, you can't ask her what she, hey, like, what do you want to bring to the relationship? How dare you? They're looking for like a quality woman and they don't see it. So a lot of those men, it's not all guys who are just trying to seal the deal and can't make it happen. Is that some of it? Sure. But there's also guys who could seal the deal and don't want to. They're just like, well, I'm going to spend a boatload of money. I'm going to spend a boatload of time. And like, what's in it for me? Really, at the end of the day, am I getting any of my boxes checked in this? So they're choosing to just be lonely, and just because they're like, where are all the good women? Where have they gone?
Jordan is not looking for a relationship at the moment. He knows he does want a family eventually. It would take a very special person to understand and grow with him, he said. I understand that because, I've had to do similar things in my life. I've had to isolate myself and focus on what's important. That's building a foundation for myself. And you do isolate yourself. You isolate yourself from family. You isolate yourself from friends. You're not out partying, getting into things. You have to give up. You have to sacrifice certain things in your life in order to obtain, things that you feel like you need, but it's well worth it once you have it. And it's better than getting into relationships that fall apart, like what happened with him and Lori Harvey. That fell completely apart. That's why I say I don't think he will ever have a public relationship ever again, because, every detail of your life put out there, and he tried to do that and it didn't work. And I feel like that has played a part into this as well, because he tried to make something work, first of all, with a person that it wasn't going to work with. And then when you look at the fact that he's always kept his private life private, you never really knew who he was dating. That's why you saw all these goofy rumors about him. Every time you see him in a setting with a female, especially if she's non-black, people, there were people jumping to conclusions. That's because he didn't want you to know what's going on in his private life. And he has every reason to do that, because a lot of people are weird. And again, as a man who wants to be successful, you're going to have to isolate yourself. You're going to have to put yourself in a situation where you're not bothered, distracted. There's no drama. There's no issues, because you have goals. You are busy. You have things that need to be done. You have a life quota, right? I want to have this amount of money. I want to own this amount of property. I want to have this amount of success. And you're going to have to cut out certain things. And a relationship is that. Relationships nowadays just aren't worth it, especially when it comes to these celebrities. It just isn't worth it. You're better off just being single. I see this with athletes all the time. They marry women in their prime. Like, you're in the prime of your career. You should be focusing on playing as long as you can, making as much as you can. And then once you're retired, you can focus on that later. Michael B. Jordan has plenty of time to get married, if that's what he wants to do. He has plenty of time to, if he wants to start a family, do that. But he's at a point where he's the most marketable he's ever been, and he wants to focus on that. And the thing about men is we've been programmed to focus on everybody else. We've been programmed to focus on, being the head of household, taking care of the family. There's nothing wrong with that, but a lot of women do not feel that way. They do not feel like they need men to provide and protect for them anymore. They feel like they can do that stuff themselves, or they can find alternative means. Men have lost placement in our society.
Smart move by this king.
What I noticed lately is that a lot of men rather stay single because they're tired of giving their everything and ending up with nothing. Do you guys agree with that?
This is 100% the truth. Girls really don't value anymore what men bring to their lives. The world now has become primarily about material. There is always somebody else that can provide better material. Because of this, there's no real reason to cling on to one person or another. There's always somebody better, right? This, of course, is only if you define somebody by what they provide in the material world. The harsh reality, of course, is this. Most people really don't deserve or need that much material. Just because you feel that you deserve something doesn't mean you actually do. Your life will eventually show you that reality one way or the other. Since girls always have a shoulder to cry on, they may not realize it ever.
I was at the beach today alone, and the spot where I wanted to sit was like right by a rock because I wanted to lean up against it and read. There's this guy like directly in front of me, like maybe 10 feet away. Super cute, like really cute guy. And he noticed me, I noticed him, we smiled at each other, whatever. And I was at the beach for a good like 3 hours, maybe 4, just reading, like one headphone in, and it wasn't like, the door was open, and a part of me wanted to go up to him and like be like, hey, how's it going? Honestly, another part of me was just like, what am I doing thinking of going up to guys? I don't want a guy who's too shy to come up to me. I'll have to make the first move with. Yes, he was very cute. He was alone. He looked single. But why the hell would I put myself out there and be like, hey, how's it going? And I honestly think it's like a super huge issue with guys nowadays where it's like, just make the move. I've made the moves before to guys, giving to them. Over that, I'm like, no. Like, you can come up to me. Maybe that's a hot take, but honestly, like grow a pair. Grow a pair. You were smiling at me. You were making little flirty faces. Like, just come up to me and ask for my number. It's really, really neat.
He probably thought, there goes my peace and quiet.
Let's just talk about the lonely man epidemic that my sister kind of talked about the other day. And basically, it's that so many men are lonely because a lot of women are not willing to date them because, one, women are getting better paying jobs, they're getting better careers, and they're getting more educated in the sense that these women who are just getting hotter and smarter and making more money don't want just a regular mediocre man. And the thing is, with guys that do have pretty well-paying jobs and multiple degrees and are self-sufficing in pretty good ways, they are arrogant. There's not a lot of people that are very humble but also have a lot of things in their life. So in that point, there's something called the lonely man epidemic because a lot of women are not willing to date just regular men. They want to have a really good provider, a really good quality man, but there's not a lot of them out there these days. Even if they do exist, a lot of them are taken. So it's like you're not going to crash someone else's wedding or their relationship. So that's why women just prefer to be single these days.
You forgot the part about average women being delusional. How convenient.
This is brilliant. And it's so true. This is why so many men in my comment section got so upset with my last couple videos. Oh my gosh, the amount of disgusting, misogynistic comments I got. And it's because they're being called out. They're being called out on their bullshit. I'm calling it out. All of these women in the comments of my videos are calling it out. Newsflash, your actions and your words have consequences. That's how it works. And I'm so happy that women nowadays feel strong enough and feel so empowered to actually say something and to call people out. That is what should be happening. Also, I know that it's not all men, okay? I know it's not every single man on earth. However, if you go back through my videos and you read all of the comments that I got, 96% of them are men leaving horrible comments. Horrible, despicable, disgusting comments. And honestly, that's why those men are lonely. This male loneliness epidemic, it doesn't exist. It's a male consequences epidemic.
90% of women go for 10% of men. And then you put all of the blame on men. You can't blame them for playing a game they know very well they will never be able to ace.
Okay, it's honesty time, because not enough people are calling this what it is for me to be happy. So I'm going to be real upfront with you. We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We have a male loser epidemic. And that clip from that YouTube dating show proves it. If you somehow haven't seen it yet, there is a clip of this cute, passionate girl named Riley. And she gets up, she introduces herself, and she has all these really cool hobbies. Like she's scuba dives and she's going to Australia to scuba dive, and she skis, and she's just really outdoorsy and adventurous. All of the women on the dating show were like super impressed, actively listening, you know, taking in what Riley was saying, like, you know, like a human being does. And the entire time Riley was speaking, the men were not listening. No, they were sitting there giggling to each other and like elbowing each other and looking at each other for validation. And then whenever the host asked if anybody would like to get to know Riley, okay, none of them stood up. It was this long, awkward silence full of them like covering their mouths and like looking at each other and laughing. Fucking laughing. It only further cements the fact that any man who is single these days doesn't want a woman who is actually passionate about things. They want somebody who looks just like every other Instagram influencer. Okay? That's what they want. And it's just like, what are you bringing to the table? The answer is nothing. They don't bring anything to the table. They don't want to do chores. They don't want to work. They want to get rich quick. They want a woman to do everything for them. Where is your drive? You have none. And that's why women won't date you. Because you're a loser. I don't know what else to tell you. You're a loser. You're not interesting. You have no drive. What is there to be impressed by? Genuinely. So that's just my 2 cents. Grow up, I guess. Maybe then women will date you. Because these are the same men. These men that were laughing at Riley are the same ones that'll get on the internet later and talk about the male loneliness epidemic. And no women want to date me. It's self-inflicted. It is a self-inflicted problem. I wouldn't even call it a problem. I would call it a solution. Because honestly, more women are happy without a man in their life. Because genuinely, what are you bringing to the table? Nothing. And before anybody gets butthurt over this video, I'm just gonna say this. If it doesn't apply to you, it doesn't apply to you. But if you get in this comment section and you talk about, well, not all men, a hit dog hollers, okay? A hit dog hollers. Do some self-reflection. And go to therapy, maybe. I don't know. Solve your issues. Solve your insecurities. We're tired, okay? We're fucking tired. We're tired of losers. We're tired of dealing with losers. So that's my advice. Good luck. And justice for Riley, okay? Golly.
We don't have a male loneliness epidemic. We don't have any epidemic. We have a men choosing wisely epidemic. It's not the men who are suffering. Hear yourself, woman.
I heard a creator say the male loneliness epidemic is self-induced, while women who stay single longer is self-preservation. And if this comment doesn't just shout that, I don't know what else does. So you realize why women are going for the top 10, 20% of men, right? Let me help you. Because those are the men that have emotional intelligence and emotional security. Those are the men that have a growth mindset. These types of men have like a career and they're pushing their lives forward in a positive way. While I know a lot of you who are like, but it's still all these women, they're not choosing me. Well, no, because you have that attitude. What woman wants to be with a guy who sits at home and does nothing to better himself? What woman wants to be with a guy who bitches and complains that he's not getting chosen, even though he's not doing anything to get chosen? Oh yeah, the male loneliness epidemic. The reason that women are choosing the top 10, 20% of men is because those men are actually doing something with their lives. You want to have someone choose you, you gotta choose yourself first. You gotta be good at who you are in order for somebody else to choose you, or want you, or be good enough to like be in the top 20%. And guess what? The more men that have that mindset, the bigger the pool becomes, right? There's going to be more men to choose from because they're also doing the things that the top 10, 20% of men are doing. Wow. I don't know how I have to explain this. Like, wow.
You wouldn't ask someone why they picked up the ripe fruit instead of the moldy one, would you? Thanks for watching Manhood. If you want access to exclusive episodes and want to support the channel, hit that join button and become a member. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video if it hit home. Drop your stories and thoughts in the comments. We read everyone. See you tomorrow.